It's the new year, and a lot of people are aiming to lose weight, typically at the beginning of the new year. And I'm starting to hear of this new thing called Ozempic. I've never heard of it, but it's like
It's new to you?
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard me talk about it?
Or maybe I have, but just maybe the name didn't stick with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just been hearing people take shots and they're supposed to lose weight or something like that.
Phew,
Yeah.
Is that I mean, obviously.
I did a whole video on it.
Oh, okay.
It was a reaction video, so I shouldn't say a whole video, but it was.
I've done reels on it, multiple on them. Bro, it's horrible. So what it very basically is it's called a semaglutide, which is a peptide, and it's a hormone.
A semaglutide, which is a peptide.
Yeah.
I don't understand what any of those are.
And you said
I just told you it's a hormone.
Okay.
It's a hormone.
It's just okay.
It's a hormone.
So it's a synthetic hormone.
Yeah.
Synthetic. Okay.
Right.
It's fake. And what it's designed to do is it's designed to mimic a hormone that your body naturally releases after you eat, and it basically tells you I'm satiated, I'm not hungry. So what it does is it basically turns off their appetite.
So it's like the tea.
Yes.
But this is not a healthy.
This is
Not a tea though.
Not a tea.
It's a needle that you put directly in your blood.
Right.
DEAT.
You put it into your well, most people put it into their stomach. I mean, they have it now where you can take it by pill as well, but they're like it's not as effective, obviously, right? But there's a lot of issues with this because number one, it's a hormone. You already have women that are struggling with hormones. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that you can, you get on Instagram or TikTok, whatever, and you want to lose weight. First thing hormones, right? So you already have these people that are having issues with hormones due to mainly all the heavy metals in the air and in their body, right? But then you have a shot where you're literally putting it directly into your stomach. So you're bypassing the body's immune system. You're bypassing all these things. And there's the reason for it, because they understand that if you do it orally, like I said, it's less effective because your body says, I don't like this. Right. And it doesn't take it. So they just put it right in the stomach. And what it does is it basically just makes you not want to eat. So what they see is that they see all these people lose a lot of weight. And it was originally designed, supposed to be for diabetics to help them increase insulin sensitivity. And then you had the stars pick it up, and then it became more popular as a weight loss drug. So Ozempic is the name brand, and then you have I won't even say the off-name brand, but then you have the one that's approved for medical approval for like diabetics, and you gotta be at a certain BMI and all this stuff. That's Ozempic. And then you have the other one, which is it's technically.
I believe it is approved for weight loss.
No. Wegovy is approved for weight loss. They're the same thing, but one is the name brand, the other one is the off-name brand.
The dosage is different, isn't it? The strength of it.
The dosage is based upon the person's weight, or which they can go up or down in it. So the issue, that's what it is. So what they've been doing is that they've been, number one, following people. There's a lot of issues, but I'll give you a couple. Number one, they've been following people that have been taking it. And then what they found is that as they take it and they're losing weight, the weight that they're losing, 50% of it is coming from lean skeletal mass. Insane. So half of their weight is muscle.
Insane.
That they're losing, right? They didn't know this at first. Oh. So then, so that's number one, which they're basically their BMI is going up, and they're getting less toned, and they're getting more skinny fat. The second big problem is that these people are experiencing gastroparesis, stomach paralysis. So what's happening is that when you eat, your stomach has a valve at the bottom, and the food, as it's in your hydrochloric acid, it empties out, and then it goes through the rest of your intestines, right? But what's happening is that the paralysis causes that valve to stay closed. So it only opens a little bit, or sometimes it doesn't open, and then the food isn't able to exit, so then it just sits in the stomach. So then now they have what some people call it frozen stomach, or right. So the stomach doesn't empty. So then they have, of course, issues with bloating like crazy.
Dude, that sounds crazy.
They have constant stomach aches. They literally can't eat anything because their stomach just stays full because they have food literally just in the stomach. Now, of course, it's sitting in stomach acid and then begins to rot, which I would imagine then they would start to become having more issues, of course, with parasites, things of that nature. So those are probably two of the biggest, issues.
Big enough?
That sounds scary.
It's terrible.
Your stomach is shutting down. I'm not accepting it anymore right
Yes.
now. It's like the club is at capacity.
It literally shuts down. Oh, let me give you one more. Here's the worst part about it. Those are bad, but here's the worst part. You go through all of that to lose weight, right? You go through all that to hopefully increase your insulin sensitivity. But then after it's all said and done, if you stop, they have shown that you regain more than 50% of your weight back after you stop taking it. So even after you do all that, right? And yes, 50% of muscle loss and over 50% of your weight will come back. And they've seen this in like 70 to 80% of all patients.
So your BMI balloons.
Yeah, balloons. After you get off of it.
No, well, period. Throughout this process, your BMI is going up, your weight is going down.
Correct.
You eventually are going to get off of it. At that point, you just gain visceral fat, I'm assuming, or whatever.
Number one, your inflammation is going to go up.
Right.
But then also because your stomach is still, it's fighting itself. It's more or less, my opinion, because it's a stomach issue, your bowels are going to become extremely inflamed. So a lot of the weight is going to come from inflammation.
Okay.
So
it's not as bad as it seems, but it's bad.
It's not bad as it seems, but but we understand this, right? But people just see weight and they don't understand the differences in that weight. So
under what circumstances would you recommend this?
You're 400, 500 pounds, you're diabetic, they're about to take your leg,
Anytime you are not willing to make the dietary changes, go for the drugs. It's better than not.
Yeah.
That
would be the only time I would tell somebody, okay, this is a way out. Those people that are on my 600-pound life, take it. You know what I mean? Things like that. That's what it was made for. It was made for those reasons. And obviously, I don't like science playing with hormones at all. But that's what it was made for. It is a naturally occurring hormone. There's a bunch of them that are naturally occurring in our bodies. And they're not all necessarily bad. They all don't necessarily do this. But it has to do with the dosage. You have people that are going into the hospital. I'm sorry, not the hospital. Poison Control saw over, I think it was 1,000% increase in calls and cases due to overdose on Ozempic. So they're overdosing on it too.
So they think more is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you think of the mind of the dieter, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I just take this much, it's only half a milligram or whatever the dosage is. If I take a little bit more, I'll be even less hungry, right? So, and then I had somebody even in our group was like, because they were having a conversation about it, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, girl, if you're taking Ozempic and you start fasting, it's gonna be so easy." And I said, "Y'all are fasting on Ozempic?" I mean, and of course it makes sense because, right? Like it takes away your hunger anyway, so it just makes it so much easier. But I let that conversation.
It's probably better. It's probably better to fast on it because you just said it, you get stomach paralysis.
Yeah.
So, and also your body can actually kind of counteract some of the negative impact that drug is having.
I mean, I would say that it probably is better.
They promote fat I want to say Jason Fung talks about how fasting goes well with different cancer treatments, even I think dialysis. Someone actually asked me about that, Steve.
I would say that dialysis could be definitely a good one because your kidneys aren't working properly. So if your kidneys aren't working properly, you don't want to necessarily drink a lot of water. So like when you're on dialysis, let me say, when you have like kidney issues, but dialysis is your blood. Your blood is dirty. So sometimes they go together because your kidneys clean the blood. But yeah, I could see that, because if your blood is dirty, then something's not working. Your kidneys aren't filtering. Your liver's not filtering it. So there's an issue there. So I would absolutely say that they would go well together. You asked about. I told you we talking about this. That's crazy.
That's wild.
What are your thoughts about it? Like, what were your thoughts about it when you started hearing?
Well, I mean, if it's a drug or if it's a syringe or whatever,
A syringe, nigga.
whatever the fuck, a needle, if it's supposed to, especially if it's like a fad or something that hasn't been consistently around, I'm already thinking like, okay, this is just another easier way out for people who don't want to, either go through dieting or eliminating food, or who want to eat the same food and get different outcomes. So, I mean, that's my initial thought when I'm thinking about it. And it's like, man, it sucks that people are going to see celebrity figures, maybe just influencers in general, that are going to promote this, and it's going to lead them to start to believe that this is the new way to lose weight. And then we'll get these cases where we start to see, people are starting to actually gain this weight when they stop using it. And it's just like, man, this is just more things that's leading towards the fall of society. And, humans relying on pills and the modern doctors to be their solution to anything that they can typically just do with a little bit of will and discipline, because at the end of the day, that's all it really is having the will, the discipline, and the mindset to combat all these things that is actively hurting you. And a lot of people, they can't see like other people results as like a beckoning of things that they should stop doing. Like if you've been consistently going to the doctor and relying on all of this medicine, and the doctor's putting you on pills and make you a reoccurring customer instead of just actually getting rid of the issue at just getting rid of it, period. If you can see this, especially if you're an intelligent person, if you can see this, why would you continue to go to the same people who cause these issues for the resolution? It's just like, man, they don't want to help you to get out of this stuff. And